The first AECT standard deals with content knowledge. I had many opportunities to practice this in the MET program, and I'm going to discuss my screenwriting module and technology use plan as they provide a good demonstration of this standard.
One of my favorite parts of the EdTech program was designing courses and modules. In EdTech 522, I had the opportunity to design a module of a screenwriting course that is centered around creating the scene and really just drawing that out. This was a great assignment. I really enjoyed it. I got to play around with Moodle. I decided to host my own installation of Moodle. I was also able to incorporate some newer technology called Plotagon, which is a screenwriting software that allows you to input dialogue, motion, action, stage direction, and then the software takes all of that and compiles a computer recording and shows you your scene, and it's really kind of cool. I was also able to incorporate a new theme that takes advantage of HTML5 into Moodle so that all their little boxes and modules pop out in a nice, really visually, aesthetically pleasing manner. The module and the resources it incorporates help demonstrate content knowledge, as I was able to blend creative writing instruction with some innovative technologies into a course that I would really like to take one day. EdTech 501 presented me with a good opportunity to design and present a plan to my school district about planning and implementing technology in our district. It allowed me to incorporate methods to determine a need, so a needs assessment, as well as be able to find, evaluate, and assess that technology on a regular basis in an iterative process. So we'll use, assess, evaluate, use, assess, evaluate, and make changes as needed. This is an important process since technology needs to be monitored, and we can't just use technology for the sake of using technology. It has to benefit the education and the instruction. So this plan allowed me to create a planning team and a process and present that. It also streamlined the process for evaluation. And at the time of my departure, this plan, although was being revised, was being implemented, and we'd started the process. It was really kind of cool.
These two projects were beneficial for me. I had the opportunity to practice integrating and planning technology as it aligns and enhances content knowledge for me and my colleagues. This AECT standard is all about pedagogy. I was able to demonstrate this frequently at Boise State, but I think the project that best shows my abilities came from EdTech 512.
EdTech 512 was all about online course design. The entire semester revolved around designing one course from the ground up. Now I chose to do a course that I would love to teach. This is kind of like my dream course to teach. It's all about memoir, and I entitled it Blending the Lines Between What Happened and Imagination. Now this is designed to be an introduction to memoir and creative nonfiction. So I created 5 modules, the syllabus, and many other auxiliary documents, including problem analysis, goal statements, evaluation planning documents, concurrent design documents. And those are all linked here, as well as formative and evaluation and summative evaluation plans. It's all right here on this course landing page. Now the course itself is housed in Moodle, and let's go there and kind of take a look at it. This kind of pulls up here a to-do list for module 1 is where that links. But if we come back to the main course landing page, we have it all laid out right here with some similar images so that it all kind of ties together. I also created a Facebook group for our main forum of synchronous discussion. Now, as this is a workshop course, it's very important to have synchronous discussion, and I feel like Facebook groups really lends itself well to that, since Facebook has, the messaging feature and all sorts of synchronous tools built into it. Plus, many people already know Facebook and know how to use it, so there's not as much learning that needs to be done on how to use the systems. Now, I really feel that the use of these different Web 2.0 technologies enhance the community that's needed for this type of course, and it allows me to avoid that common pitfall of incorporating technology just for the sake of using technology. This course, I feel, best demonstrates the content pedagogy standard, as it incorporates various technologies create a course that is typically successful in a face-to-face environment and allow for that similar success potential in the online world.
AECT Standard 3 involves learning environments. It involves creating, using, evaluating, and managing them for effective instruction and achievement. For EdTech 505 and my employer, I was able to create and oversee a project designed to have some specific learning outcomes.
The evaluation project that I conducted for EdTech 505 included the creation and monitoring of a training project at a customer service call center. Now, for the sake of confidentiality, I can't mention that call center's name or what type of customer service they were providing. However, the project was created to increase agent productivity and proficiency, as well as decrease agent turnover, which was a pretty big problem at this call center and customer service call centers across the country. Now, this was a long process that included creating the instruction, monitoring several groups of agents, and collecting various forms of data, and then evaluating that data to see if the project was successful, unsuccessful, or in need of modification. As I was the lead on this project, it demonstrates my ability to meet Standard 3. The project required oversight and the use of new and existing learning environments, as well as a managing and evaluating system to make sure that they were effective or how to make them effective. The project was particularly challenging in that it had to be conducted in a manner that fell under the rather small budget that was allotted for testing and data collection, as the curriculum development required most of the allotted budget for manpower hours and resources. I feel that this project and all of the documents and systems that we implemented and the data collection was particularly useful in that it highlighted several areas that the company could improve on even if they didn't implement this project. And it did spark some research into fully implementing this as a new training method after the initial training period takes place on a permanent basis, not only in the sites that we conducted the test on, but in other parts of the company. This project shows proficiency in Standard 3 since it involved creating, managing, and evaluating a new learning environment, and then determining how effective it was.
Out of all of the courses that I took in the MET program, EdTech 543 was my favorite. It allowed me to explore a passion of mine, which was social networks and how they can engage students and enhance learning. Standard 4 is about demonstrating the ability to create technology-rich learning environments within a supportive group or with colleagues. It's about collaboration. SPACE, the MOOC, demonstrates this nicely.
The most ambitious project from EdTech 543 was the creation of a MOOC, a massively online open course. I collaborated with a colleague who had a science background in biology, and since my content area is language arts, we thought that maybe we would have trouble finding a course topic that we both could contribute to. However, after some initial discussions, we decided on a science-based course that incorporated aspects of writing and composition as well as group collaboration. And SPACE the MOOC was born, and it worked surprisingly well. We met on a regular basis using Facebook, Google Docs, and other collaboration tools, and we were able to create a course that fostered learning, collaboration, and self-guided discovery within the scope of astronomy and space. The course would not have developed into what it did without both of us bringing ideas to the table and listening to each other. We created some participation use guidelines based upon our thoughts of netiquette, and I really feel like we did a pretty good job with here and covered most of our bases. We also incorporated many technologies out there to foster the group work and lower the learning curve. For example, we used a Facebook group for synchronous discussions and general questions. We also used a SPACE MOOC Twitter handle and hashtag for course announcements and quick information sessions. It was a lot of fun there. We used a Digio group for resources and links. We also used a group blogging software called Blogger. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. And we used other technologies like NetVibes and ScoopIt. So within the course, we incorporated collaborative elements that made their way to the forefront as group activities, and teaching are the main areas for interaction within the course for those that are enrolled. So we had some small group work where each individual would go research something and come back and teach it to his group. It was a lot of fun. So Standard 4 is about designing and implementing learning environments within a community of practice. I feel that Space the MOOC demonstrates this nicely as it was created through collaboration with my colleague. And it also shows the effort between me and him, and it fosters collaboration amongst the participants through the use of various technologies.
Research is an important part of any learning scenario. Today, more than ever, data is used to determine best practices, new methods of instruction, and how to best help students learn. Standard 5 is about using an inquiry-based method to review research and improve practices while learning new methods for teaching and learning.
One huge takeaway that I've left the MAT program with is that community is inherently important in any learning situations. Face-to-face classrooms usually develop this rather naturally, but in the online classroom, it doesn't always happen. In fact, it doesn't happen unless specific steps are taken. It often requires deliberate planning and, for lack of a better word, artificial activities that serve no other purpose than for the students to get to know each other and bond. EdTech 504 was all about the theory and foundations of educational technology. And in that course, I got to focus in on this particular area about online classroom community. I wrote a synthesis paper that looked into building online communities and looked at some research. I reviewed many studies about building community, about its effects, and about how important it is in the online classroom. This review process not only allowed me to finish my paper, but it also allowed me to incorporate many of these suggestions and research-based practices into my current position teaching speech and language arts with Idaho Digital Learning. One of the best aspects of the MET program was that most of the content and activities could be incorporated into my current practice right away. In fact, my first course showed this property. EdTech 501 was a great survey into the field and allowed me to conduct some research into the benefits of technology use in secondary education. At the time, this was necessary to get some technology use implemented in my school district. I reviewed many research studies about technology and how it was used in the secondary environment. The primary use was in the face-to-face environment, as that was my position at the time. Through these reviews, I was able to come to some conclusions and present them to my principal and department head, as well as synthesize the research paper for this class. I even was able to incorporate some of those principles, like the use of smartboards, into my own course. It was a great experience for me and a great way to start off the MET program.
These two papers discussed in this video demonstrate my ability to review and evaluate research while applying the findings to enhance my learning environments and to make my classroom better, whether it is face-to-face or online.